I got to be honest, I get wrapped up in seeing what logo drip they might have on. We have a winner because he represented the United States. I think it's the most, I think when you see the logo, you go, if you wore that logo as a player, I think it's the best club to be in. A member of a Walker Cup team, twice a winner at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, co-host of The Drop, he is Matt Every. You found that sweater in your mom's closet, and it still fits.
Can you believe it, right? These were back in the Fat Matt days. Yeah, over Christmas break. How about this? Hold on, I'm dyslexic.
Strong.
Here we go,
So
right
strong.
here. 05 Walker Cup team right here, 100% cashmere. Shout out to Anthony Kim. He was on this team as well, my old buddy. What an inspiration to so many people.
Absolutely. I appreciate you saying that. You know, I mentioned that you're a product of the state of Florida. I was thinking about this. You went to Mainland High School in Daytona Beach. I know he's older than you. When you were a kid, like 10, 11, did you ever see Vince Carter play basketball in high school?
Yeah, I did.
That had to be a freak show.
Dude, it was. I mean, his high school highlight reels might be better than his professional ones. I mean, he was just a freak of nature, and the atmosphere too there back in the day at Mainland. He's since built a new gym for the program there, but back in the day it was those tiny gyms, just a ton of noise, ton of feel in there, and he would just rock that place. Yeah, Mainland High School, man. You know, Denzel Washington went there too. I
saw that. 1 year, didn't graduate. Was it just his junior year, I heard?
And Diplo, yeah, I think Denzel was had some family in the military.
You may not know this person. George Plimpton went to your high school. One of the most famous writers of all time. He had a bit role in Good Will Hunting. He was the analyst who Matt Damon totally messed with when he was lying on the couch. Anyway, all right, we digress. The Cognizant. I was talking about these challenges. I know Billy talked about it the other night. We ran some of his sound. Is there a solution here, including the idea of, Billy's like Bermuda wall to wall. Okay, that's one element. What do you do here?
Well, look, I mean, there's no doubt there's a schedule issue here. That's the heart of the matter. If things stay the same, though, Gary, I feel like Billy probably stole that take from me about 10 years ago. You were talking about identity for the or Cognizant here. This place needs to be hard again. And when you make it wall-to-wall Bermuda, you give it a chance. Look, where this tournament is located, it's about 2 hours south of anything else we play this time of year in the state of Florida. They're pounding that thing with overseed, and when it's warm out, I live up here in Jacksonville. It can be 25 degrees difference, a 3-hour drive south. So when it's warm out down there, and they have to pound the overseed with water to keep it alive, even if they're in a drought, I mean, it doesn't even matter because they have to soak it to keep it alive. So you're going to get mud balls. Balls are going to roll in the fairway. Most of these guys, these world-class players that live in Jupiter or anywhere in the state of Florida, their home course is not overseeding in the winter. No chance. I mean, they're closed in the summer. And let me tell you right now, the place Billy and I play at in Jacksonville, it is elite as far as the shape it's in. You can only tie it. You cannot beat it. It is so good. And if you get it on a 70-degree day with no wind, is it gettable? Absolutely. Would PGA National be gettable on a 70-degree day with no wind and not overseeded? Absolutely, it'll be gettable. But the second the temps drop just a little bit, I'm saying like in the 50s and a little bit of a wind out of the north, it's a different animal, and it gives an opportunity for these courses to show their teeth without it needing to be Armageddon outside.
Yeah, you're right. The last two winners, 17 and 19 under par. And if you look at that stretch that preceded it, the average winning score was like 8.6 under par. And that is part of it. And look, you mentioned you get winds going like crosswinds on that golf course, particularly if you go through 15, 16, and 17 as well. That's part of it. And it's not like you're looking to punish. That's more compelling. And that is part of the identity of what that place was built on. And I'm totally with you. The West Coast offers what it does, and then Florida offers some things distinctly different. And you've already touched on one of them, agronomics. When you start to, whether it's handicap fields or look at trend lines, Do you lean in on guys who played well on the West Coast, or do you pivot to playing records in Florida, particularly Bermuda grass greens, as something that you lean into more?
Look, I think form trumps everything, first of all. Good play usually carries over no matter where, especially at this level. But there's definitely something to be said for guys that maybe grew up on the East Coast, judging flyers out of the rough. Now, here's the other thing. The rough is overseeded, too. It's not your typical Bermuda rough that maybe you see over at Sony at Waialae. This is overseeded rough, almost just gouge rough. But chipping around the greens, even though there's overseed, that Bermuda still wins sometimes. And I think there's an art to that, no doubt about it. These guys that grew up in hot climates, or really just anywhere in the South and maybe in Texas, I like them. You know, this week, I like a guy like Nico Echeverria. I mean, he won in Puerto Rico. He's used to grainy lies, lives here in Florida. It's not the best field, but I do think that there's something to be said for kind of strokes gained Bermuda grass. Russell Henley comes to mind. I know he won't be playing this week, but you gotta keep an eye on him. Sam Burns, another one. Guys who can just run the table on these pure surfaces. We saw some of those low shots on the West Coast, especially at Riviera, when those greens get damp. I mean, that hole starts to get real small the second you miss a putt inside of 5 feet. You can see there's a lot of luck involved. Here, not so much. I mean, you get these things on the right line, they're going to go in.
I understand what you're saying about form. I saw this note. I thought it was interesting. 5 of the last 7 winners at the Cognizant, in the year they won, finished 21st or better at the Sony, where you start the year on that surface. And then you go to the West Coast and you have all these different kinds of grasses. And Russell Henley, obviously, he's got a great record at the Sony, got a great record at the Cognizant as well. I'm curious about, obviously Bay Hill's a week away. You won it in 14 and 15. And that is, to me, their identity. I think that now is the most brutish examination in the Florida swing. And we've seen it. Look, since 2020, we had somebody who won at 4 under par. The average winning score has been 9 under. Before I get to that part of it, did you have an anecdote or a moment with Arnold, whether it was after 14 or before you defended in 15 or after winning again in 15 with him?
Look, I knew Arnie probably 5 or 6 years before I won that tournament. I'm really good buddies with Sam Saunders, so I spent some time with him. And whether it was just, actually one of the first years I got in that event, Gary, they gave me a sponsor invite, and I got paired with Sam. Two things. I'll give you 2 memories. The first one was before I won. I was playing with Sam, and we were on number 8, finishing on Friday, getting ready to finish on number 9. That was going to be our 36th hole, and Arnie was out watching us. And there was we were waiting in 8 fairway for the group in front of us was walking off the green, and Arnie was driving up the right, and the crowd just starts going nuts, and he drove through the right greenside bunker to get a seat to watch us. It was great. And he can do whatever he wants there, right? And then the other thing, the first year I won, he knew I was a kind of a local product. Bay Hill was the closest event to where I grew up.
Yep.
And, look, there was a lot of sexy names around mine on that leaderboard.
No
that
doubt.
Looked really, really good on that trophy. And I could tell during the ceremony, Fincham was there and he was great. But Arnie, I could just, I saw the way he was looking at my son. I knew he could see how important it was to me. And it felt super genuine. And I think more than anything, I'll take that away from all of them.
No, that's neat. And you're right. Not only the first page, Keegan, who you beat by a shot one year, had a lot of luster. Henrik Stenson by a shot the other year. Fields have always been good, certainly. When you think about the PGA Tour now, I'm not asking you if the product's better. I'm just curious, to not make you potentially sound like an old guy, do you think the product is more interesting than it was 15 years ago?
Man, I'm going to sound like a boomer if I say if I say no. I'm interested as a fan right now. Look, the argument for the other side to me would be the world we live in now with social media. There's no more mystery. So it's you used to have guys kind of just rolling through town and whatever you saw in the 4 hours you watched him play golf, or whatever you saw on TV, that's what you thought of him. Now, if you want to know someone, I mean, everyone out there is a fan of themselves. They'll tell you what they're like. That being said, I like Jordan Spieth for me. I feel like whenever I was in my prime, he was really getting going out there. The year he won the Masters by a ton, I think, was that 14 or 15? 14? 15? Yeah, 15.
Second in 14, won it in 15, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But where I'm going with this is, at the time he was a kid.
Yes.
I still feel like I'm watching a kid when I watch him play golf. And for me, that will always be interesting. I root like hell for a guy like him to be relevant as long as he can, as far as his golf game is considered, because it's like watching the final lap of a Daytona 500 every time he's in contention, and it could be the 13th hole on a Saturday. I mean, it doesn't even need to be right down the stretch. I think we're in a good spot. I like the young guys coming out. Ludvig, he might not be the most outgoing guy, but God, if he can get his game turned around, what a face that would be to have as the front of the tour. Brooks Koepka coming back. We'll see what he can do this week. This event needs to be revived. I mean, how cool would that be if Brooks came out and had a good week? Who knows?
Yeah, the thing about Ludvig that I would say, and you're right, but I also think that part of that is where he's from. I mean, I love Swedish tennis players growing up, from Borg to Wilander, Stefan Edberg. Yeah. They're not attention seekers. Federer wasn't either, but he was regal. Yeah. And I think that Ludvig, he's 26 years of age. Last thing, I'm just curious, as somebody who works in the most spectacular broadcast building in all of broadcast television, right there at the PGA Tour, that spot, did you see the major spot before the public saw it?
Are you talking about the...
March is going to be major. March is going to be major.
Okay, so I did. They kind of did it around Phoenix this year. Was that? Yeah.
Did you see it before the public saw it? You don't know what it was about.
I mean, I know what it was about, but
yeah,
I don't really see the need for it. I mean, the player stands on its own as it is. It's the best field in golf every year, and there's 4 majors. I think it'd be weird if we just made up a 5th one right now.
No, back to the beginning of this conversation, it has a clear and distinct, fantastic identity. There's nobody else in their category. I'd love to be the only thing in my category, and they have it. Hey, listen, I wish we had more time. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Thank you as always.
All right, Gary. See you, bud.